So I really love pine bark extract for two major areas. One is appropriate blood flow, and the other one is appropriately responsible, sober, non-overreactive immune system. And like I'm really big into, health, longevity, fitness, healthy lifestyles, whatever. I just want my body to work normal. So, maybe 10 years ago, I got onto pine bark extract and have loved it ever since, particularly for these two areas, the blood flow and the immune system. Let's break down this immune system component really quick. So as far as healthy aging is concerned, we have enough stuff to deal with, from whatever toxins might be in our environment. Yeah, we may or may not really be able to control them, to our water supply, to, the clothing that we wear, the car we drive, whatever. So there's random toxins. Yeah, we all know that they're there, and maybe we can control them, maybe we can't. But there's a hidden toxin that is, it's like a double-edged sword, and it's called our immune system. Let's break it down really, really quick. So we all know that our immune system responds to bacteria, viruses, parasites, but our immune system also responds to the food that we eat and any physical injury that may come our way. So say, for example, we're doing some physical activity and we sprain our ankle or we hyperextend our knee or whatever, and there's inflammation in that area. Or another way of saying that, it swells up, it might become red. That's our immune system responding to a physical damage. In the same way that it's responding to a bacteria. Really, it shouldn't be doing that. There should be slight swelling, but not so much that the swelling in and of itself becomes the new pain and there's new damage being created, whatever. That's an overactive, somewhat uneducated immune system. Now, I use that word educated immune system, and that's key. So it turns out that our immune system doesn't get made ready to go knowing exactly what to do. It's almost like us when we're born. Like we have to learn everything. We don't know what's dangerous, what's good food to eat, like other animals, we're born and we have to be nurtured for years. It turns out our immune system is the same way. So part of the inflammatory response is what I want to be focusing on, and it's so interesting how everything's kind of connected, but this is what's going down in Chinatown. So when we have an inflammatory response, our body relies on flavonoids to help control that response. A flavonoid, maybe you've heard of a polyphenol, maybe some tea, green tea has polyphenols in it. Maybe you've heard about it, maybe you haven't. But pine bark extract is particularly rich in flavonoids, and these are building blocks of polyphenols. They look like little galaxies. They're actually pretty cool, like a spiral cluster galaxy. It's really, really cool. Well, it turns out these little galaxy things help modulate our immune system. And when they're not enough present, when we're infected with bacteria, when we're infected by a virus, or we get some physical damage, when we don't have enough of those little galaxies floating around in our body, our immune system overreacts. And this is a big pain in the butt for anybody wanting to feel great, look great as they age. So essentially, how does our immune system make us age faster? Well, this is how. It has to do with a particular part of the inflammatory process. And it involves actually one of the most powerful healthy substances of our body called glutathione. So when we don't have those little galaxies present to help control our immune system, our body takes this glutathione and it ultimately converts it into something called a leukotriene. What's that? Well, have you ever heard of histamine? If you have allergies, then you probably have heard of histamine, and you'll get something like Benadryl or Claritin, or something to take away the sneezing, the itching, the runny nose, or maybe you have a peanut allergy and you go to your allergenist and he says, yeah, you have a lot of histamine in your body, whatever. Well, a leukotriene is like histamine on steroids. Basically, these are pro-inflammatory chemicals created by our immune system as part of a healthy response, but when they're not controlled, we develop so much more pro-inflammatory, histamine or those leukotrienes. Now, there's a cascade of events from these leukotrienes, and basically they create two other chemicals. One's called nuclear factor kappa B, and the other one's called tumor necrosis factor alpha E. Some more big words. Sorry, I'm trying to keep this simple. Basically, these three things cause an incredible cascade of events in our body, and they stimulate these enzymes, okay? These enzymes are called metalloproteinases. What do? Well, they basically digest and break down our collagen networks, our elastin networks, and our gelatin networks. Basically, everything that makes us look pretty, healthy, youthful is the collagen. It's called the extracellular matrix. And the tumor necrosis factor alpha and the nuclear factor kappa B break that stuff down through the production of these enzymes called metalloproteinases, and they release all of these collagen digesting enzymes, and they break us down internally. Great, so what? What does that mean? Well, it means that we're going to have weak arteries and blood vessels, which causes us to have a more likelihood of bleeding and bruising, which creates more inflammation. It gives us things like osteoporosis, which basically we have weak brittle bones. It makes us have weak blood. What is weak blood? Well, basically there's a type of anemia called hemolytic anemia, and that's when our blood cells break apart faster than we can actually produce them, which is an indirect result of an overactive immune system, and it makes us feel weak, lethargic. We don't feel vigor. We have no vim or mirth inside of our spirit and soul. We have no drive to do anything. It's from an overactive immune system. As well as any type of autoimmunity can develop from that. Headaches, we get heart disease from that. You have to understand heart's constantly moving, and it's creating friction. We have to have good collagen to keep all of our organs in tight function and junctions with one another. And this cascade of events which just totally destroys that collagen, the extracellular matrix in our body. We'll have dry skin, itchy skin, thin skin, dry hair, brittle hair. We'll get floaters in our eyes. You name it, every part of our body is made with collagen. And when we don't have these flavonoids, those galaxy-looking, spiral-looking things from nature to help regulate that response, a whole host of issues comes about and manifests itself. Pine bark extract is one of the best sources of these polyphenol building blocks called flavonoids that you can get on Earth. Yeah, we've all heard blueberries are good for us and strawberries and the raspberries. Yes, but pine bark extract is orders of magnitude more powerful, and you will notice awesome results. And then right here, the flavonoids also control and help regulate our production of nitric oxide. In just short, nitric oxide is very, very powerful in our body for helping to control blood flow to the extremities of our body, from our toes to our brain. We actually have to have different blood pressures kind of throughout our body, because we have those big blood vessels, and then we have those little capillaries, and they don't need the exact same pressure. So our body uses the help of flavonoids to help control the blood pressure throughout our entire body. And basically, nitric oxide helps expand our blood vessels so that blood can pass through easily. Now, there's also a few other honorable mentions of pine bark. It's great for erectile dysfunction. Basically, the penis has to relax, allowing blood to enter it and fill it up, make it hard and nice, and guys love it, girls love it, and we all love it when that happens, but when we lose the ability to control nitric oxide production, we lose that ability too, and that affects guys. And then girls, when their organs aren't really being fed with oxygen-rich blood and exchanging nutrients. And every month when they have their period, they'll get cramps and they'll get headaches and, oh man, why does this happen to me every month? I dread it. Pine bark extract helps to lubricate those smooth muscles to make them not so crampy. So difficult periods over time smoothen out from these flavonoid-rich extracts of pine bark. Not to mention, there's two particular flavonoids in pine bark extract, and they mimic insulin. What does insulin do? Well, basically, insulin helps control our blood sugar levels and helps drive nutrients into the cell. As well as if we have, like too much insulin, we'll get acne, all different types of aspects related to our body, from strong bones to beautiful looking skin to appropriate levels of blood sugar throughout our entire body, giving us mental clarity and focus, are all aspects that pine bark is excellent for. And, especially me, I want to look good as I age, and I add it to my regime and my protocol, and I definitely recommend it to actually everyone. It's so super safe, and you can use it for all kinds of wonderful benefits. That's basically it. Hopefully it wasn't too complicated of a video, and hopefully you feel inspired that yes, you can live a great, happy, healthy life, and there are tools out there in nature that we can utilize finally. Anyway, cheers.